Remember when UFC fights were raw, gritty, and felt like a test of willpower? Today it's starting to look more like a Hollywood production. Has toughness taken a backseat to ticket sales? Welcome back, champions. Today we're diving into a topic that's bound to stir the pot. Modern UFC fighters. Are they the warriors of old stepping into the octagon with grit and honor? Or are they just entertainers trying to sell pay-per-views? Before you jump to conclusions, let's break it down. UFC has evolved. There's no doubt about it. But in this evolution, have we lost something important? Something primal? This isn't just about fighters or fans. It's about what men today can learn about toughness, authenticity, and staying true to what really matters. Let's rewind to the early days of the UFC, back when legends like Royce Gracie, Ken Shamrock, and Randy Couture stepped into the octagon. Those fights weren't about flashy entrances or viral tweets. They were about proving who was the toughest. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't polished, it was raw. Now fast forward to today. Fighters are no longer just fighters, they're brands. They're selling merchandise, signing sponsorship deals, and hyping up rivalries on social media. Conor McGregor, anyone? Don't get me wrong, these guys are incredibly skilled, but there's a difference between being a warrior and being a performer. One fights to prove something to himself, the other fights to put on a show. So what does this shift mean for toughness? Let's get one thing straight. Toughness isn't about trash-talking your opponent at a press conference. It's about stepping into the arena, knowing you could lose, and still giving it everything you've got. Modern UFC fighters are often criticized for prioritizing theatrics over the fight itself. But let's not confuse showmanship with strength. Real toughness isn't loud. It's quiet, disciplined, and resilient. And here's the kicker. This applies to life too. Whether it's in your relationships, career, or personal challenges, toughness isn't about being the loudest or flashiest person in the room. It's about showing up, putting in the work, and staying true to your values. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Money. The UFC is a business, and like any business, it's chasing profits. The more entertaining the fight, the more tickets they sell. It's why we see fighters prioritizing theatrics, because drama sells. But here's the downside. When the focus shifts to entertainment, the essence of the sport starts to fade. Think about it. When was the last time you watched a fight and felt like you were witnessing a clash of wills rather than a clash of egos? This isn't just about UFC, it's a reflection of modern society. Everything's a performance, whether it's on social media or in the workplace. But what's lost in this chase for attention is authenticity. So what can men learn from this? Stay authentic. Just like the early UFC fighters, stay true to who you are. Don't let the pressure to perform overshadow your values. Embrace the grind. Toughness isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in the hours you spend working on yourself when no one's watching. Focus on substance. Flashy moves and big talk might grab attention, but it's your character and consistency that earn respect. Let's be real. In life, you're going to face challenges that can't be solved with theatrics. That's when your inner warrior needs to step up. Now, this isn't to say modern fighters aren't tough. Far from it. These guys train harder than most of us can imagine. But there's a difference between being tough in the octagon and being tough in spirit. The commercialization of the UFC has turned fighters into entertainers. But at its core, fighting is about respect, discipline, and the pursuit of excellence. Not about selling out arenas. Here's where we tie it all together. The Taoist principle of balance teaches us that real strength is about harmony, between toughness and humility, action and stillness. Modern UFC might lean too far toward entertainment, but that doesn't mean the warrior spirit is dead. It's up to us, as men, to keep that spirit alive in our own lives. So, is the modern UFC too soft? Maybe, but the bigger question is, are we? Let's take a lesson from this. Don't be the guy who talks big and delivers little. Be the guy who works hard in silence and lets his actions speak louder than words. The world doesn't need more performers, it needs more warriors. Now it's your turn. Do you think UFC has lost its grit, or is this just the natural evolution of the sport? Let's hash it out in the comments. And if you're ready to embrace your inner warrior, whether in the gym, your relationships, or your career, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Thanks for watching, legends. Stay strong, stay focused, and remember, a true warrior doesn't fight for attention, he fights for purpose.